It's everything a night shouldn't be, you know? It's dank and it's foggy and penetrating and just plain miserable. Little hobnail boots going here. Hi. I'm Tom Mercein, and I'm right here in locale number 1 of volume 2 of Sound in the Round, presenting the color and the impact and the realism of true stereophonic sound. Now, you and your perceptory senses are in for fun and some thrills, some amazement, and we think complete enjoyment. Well, I'm going to get out of my dripping sou'wester now and into the setting and sound of our next adventure. Now, it's up to you to recognize the locale and scene of this next group of sounds. The question is, where are we and what goes on? All right, stop. Oh. Oh. That did it. Yes, you did hear a strange conglomeration of animal sounds plus contrivances. If a buggy or a cart is a contrivance. What you just heard was recorded at the stockyards, where the cattle buyers, that explains the bovine sounds, must utilize a horse and cart in order to get around to look at the material that they're thinking of buying. Interesting, don't you think? Now stand by for some music. Well, it's music, but it has humor in it. I'm striving hard now, friends, to see whether I can describe what's going to happen. Well, I can describe this much of it. It is mechanically produced music in the form of what happens in a rather ageless and antique Nickelodeon machine, which I suppose bears anything but mute testimony to the inventive genius of whatever minds put it together. There are hammers and tongs and clinks and clanks and mechanical reproductions of no sounds I ever really heard, but there's sort of a similarity to a violin here and there, a xylophone. Without trying for it, they achieve the sound of a guy hitting on an old radiator, it seems to me. But all in all, it's the kind of sound that used to happen when you could walk in with a nickel and slip it in a slot, and it comes out remarkably badly, really, musically, but I think it has a charm that you're going to enjoy, and I'd be glad to provide the nickel. Well, now I'm going to take you to a football game with me, but I wasn't as graceful about it as I might have been. I forgot to get tickets on the 50-yard line, which would have been, I think, friendly. And we find ourselves in the end zone. Oh, you've been there before, huh? Not only that, but we're sitting right behind one of the world's biggest men. The crowd stands up, and I, for one, and I'm 6 feet 3.5, can't see anything that's going on the field. So we hear the crowd yell, there's excitement. Somebody does something. A fellow named Ellis, I guess, is pretty good. The public address announcer is swallowed up by the sound of the crowd, and you and I will have to buy a paper after the game to find out who did what to whom.
Third and 15. Ellis back. To the 39. He's pulled down by Cassidy.
There is a sound that is familiar and frightening. Yes, an air raid siren. Now, we hear the sound quite often. For just a moment, our hackles go up, the hair begins to stand on end, and then with that remarkable complacency that we have, we simmer down, don't we? And we realize that it's a test, and so we go on our way doing whatever we're doing. Don't forget what might happen the next time you hear an air raid siren. Well, you've just heard War by Sound in the Round. Nobody was hurt. No property was hurt. And if we surprised you a little and caused some excitement and now please you with the knowledge that it wasn't real at all, then our war was as fine a war as you can find. Well, how would you like to hear me roaring around a roller rink, attached by the hands to some very skillful skaters, and I don't qualify? Well, that's what you're going to think you're hearing, but the truth was I haven't been on a roller rink in 17 years, but we think it'll sound like I was. You'll certainly hear a lot of roller skates, and we had fun doing this one.
6 laps to go.
For a while, you know. Gently. Now, what do you want me to do now? Well, you're going to whip me around and I'm supposed to jump. Well, okay, I'll have a go at it.
You see, friends, to what great lengths we'll go for realism? Bruises, you know where. Skating rinks are fun. Roller rinks are great. But I suggest that unless you have real talent for it, that you do what I didn't do. I'm out of breath. Make sure where the first aid room is when you're finished, and don't fail to stop at the cushion concession on your way in. Sound in the Round took its technical and delicate equipment to the University of Chicago in order to record what you're about to hear now. Specifically, at the Rockefeller Memorial of the University of Chicago, which houses, among other things, the Rockefeller Memorial Carillon, better known as carillon, involving 150 tons of cast bells, all operated by mechanical linkage by one gentleman carefully trained in the operation of the carillon. This carillon was made in England, consists of 52 bells, ranging in size from 10 pounds, the size of a teacup, to an 18-ton cast bell, which might well serve for a garage if it were shaped properly. It's that big, in other words. Our carillonneur, to anglicize the title of the gentleman who plays it, is the eminent Mr. James R. Lawson. Now, as I stand here before you, friends, I'm reflecting on what to do for a denouement, as we say in French. To cap the climax, to make... Say... Well, now, someone has made up my mind for me. Here come those... The bagpipers are with us, friends. A jaunty group, if I ever saw one, with kilts a-swinging and that gay sound going on. And they're going somewhere, and I've just decided that I am, too. I think I'll join them. Get my tam-o'-shanter cocked over my head here. Hand me that thing there with the pipes on it. Hope you've had fun with us.